This is the Osmose CE Controller Edition from Expressive E, and it's the MIDI controller many of you were waiting for. It's cheaper than the Osmose Synth, and it can play any software instrument, control your DAW, and of course you get these MPE keys that do everything from bend and wobble to press in with the deepest aftertouch you'll ever see. This is top-tier expressive playing. Today I'll show you everything the Osmose CE can do and let you know how this crazy new MIDI controller can fit in your studio. First, a bit of some interesting history about this. The original Osmose Synth came out 3 years ago and everyone wanted to try it. The keys were just magical, allowing you to play more expressively than a traditional keyboard. Expressive E created the original Osmose as a synth. I have it right here. It's got sounds built in so you can play it even without a computer. But everyone was so taken by the flexibility of the keys that many people asked, can you make a MIDI controller out of it? Just something we can use with a computer to play anything we want. And here it is. The Osmose Controller Edition, or CE, is more affordable, controls your DAW, and still has these crazy keys. Now, I should mention that you could use the original Osmose as a MIDI controller if you wanted to, but that wasn't its intended purpose. So it didn't have some of the controls that Expressive E put into this CE version, like the play, stop, record buttons, and quantize, and so much more. So this makes a lot more sense if you're someone who just wants extra control of your software instruments and DAW while you compose with expression. So let's dive in. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Osmose, you need to see what these keys can do. I'll show you that in a sec, but first I want to comment on how this looks. It's a gorgeous MIDI controller. The white is just striking, and the contrast between the black and the white just looks so good. I have a MIDI controller drawer in my desk, but it hides keyboards. This keyboard wants to be seen and shown off. From every angle, this looks special and premium. So, how premium is this? Well, it's $1,000 for the 49 key version and $1,200 for the 61 key version that I have here today. No 88 key yet. Wouldn't that be interesting? And if you're interested in the Osmose, I'll add links below to the best prices. And hey, if you're looking for the Osmose or anything else for your studio, you can visit guitarcenter.com or your local Guitar Center store. Whatever you need for your studio, they've got it right here. If you need MIDI controllers, synths, studio monitors, and other instruments, Guitar Center staff are here to help you out.
Here you go, SanjayC. You've got to take the merchandise too.
All right, let's take a quick tour of the controls on this CE, and I'll go into more detail later. Wait till you see the software they've included. Okay, starting from the left, we've got pitch and mod sliders, then preset, previous, and next buttons, octave up and down, and these also have a secondary function with the shift button here, undo, redo, quantize, and tempo with your DAW. Above that is a screen with 6 contextual buttons around it. These are clickable too. These let you navigate the on-screen menu and control lots of DAW functions. Above that, you have transport controls, play, stop, record, and metronome, and you've got a mode button here that also lets you get to other menus. The volume button at the top looks a bit misleading. It's not controlling the keyboard's volume. It's mapped to the main output volume of your DAW. Oh, and on the back, you've got a power switch, 2 pedal ports, a USB-C port to connect to your computer and also power it, and another USB-C port if you need to use this with external MIDI. You've got ins and outs for MIDI here too. All right, let's see what these keys can do. Just like the original Osmose, there are things you can do with these keys that you just can't with a regular controller. The one you feel immediately the first time you touch it is the depth of the keys. You can press these down really deep. And that translates to controlling your sound as you play. It's like aftertouch on steroids. Press harder and you can control changes in the sound you're playing. And it's note by note, or polyphonic aftertouch. You can also control the sound by the way you tap or wiggle the keys. It sounds different as you strike it differently. Let's try wiggle. There are ways to strum and shake or apply custom portamento without programming something or using the wheel. Even the way you lift your finger will impact the sound. All this translates to more expressive playing. So instead of just programming a filter sweep in a synth plugin with your mouse and keyboard, or trying to program a natural vibrato with the cello virtual instrument, you can actually play it, and the natural sound of your performance is captured. I have to say, it's a whole new experience for keyboardists. It may take some getting used to, but once you do, this becomes something special, like from another planet type of special. Now, you can control the flexibility and sensitivity of the keyboard in a menu here. I'll show you more on that later. Now, the CE can function as a regular MIDI controller without all the special expression. You can put it in different modes, even classic keyboard that just sends basic MIDI. But wait a second, I said earlier there are no built-in sounds in the Osmose CE. So where are the sounds coming from? Well, you're controlling virtual instruments on your computer with the Osmose. It sends MIDI information to any plugin in my DAW, and I can play just like any other MIDI controller. So there, I'm just playing a regular stock plugin. But this also sends MPE, or Super MIDI. All your expression gets captured, and you can play virtual instruments with a lot more feeling. So to get you started, Expressive E has included new software called CTRL E. It comes with the Osmose CE, and it includes lots of sounds, over 900 presets. Just load the CTRL E plugin in your DAW, choose a preset, and you're playing. When you load the CTRL E software on a track, you also get some controls right here on the screen, which is super cool. You can also choose favorites with a press on the left, and you can get to macro controls and sensitivity, and even get to arpeggiators and the press glide here. You'll notice that the plugins menu on the left shows you virtual instruments you might be familiar with, like Phase Plant from Kilohertz or the CV3 by Applied Acoustics. And there's others here. These companies have actually created presets for the CTRL E system, and it leads me to believe that we may see more packs come out from other plugin companies. That would be really cool. You can control the CTRL E plugin with the knobs right on the Osmose CE. So you can filter by the plugin, you can filter by type, characteristics of sounds, and then scroll up and down the presets and press in to load what you want. So what's it like playing other plugins like Omnisphere or even stock instruments with this? I'll go through that in a second. Let's look at the DAW controls first, because that is super new and exciting on the Osmose CE. The Osmose CE will integrate really well with Bitwig, Cubase, Ableton Live, and Logic. You press the mode button to switch between settings and the DAW controls. You have play, stop, record, and metronome here. Turning the top left knob will control your playhead. Pressing it will activate loop and then move around the loop. Turning the bottom left knob navigates your tracks, and pressing it in actually loads the plugin. You also have volume, pan, and sends here as well. Press in this button and it mutes. This one will solo, and I don't think these presses do anything. You can also hold the shift button and do things like add markers, jump to a marker, and transpose. The shift button also activates the undo and redo, and the quantize and tempo button. You can even tap tempo with this. In Ableton, you can launch clips and scenes, and you can use the knobs down here to control macro controls on Ableton devices. They've included a lot to give you hands-on control of your DAW. The most used buttons are all here, and the screen is really nice too. Now, they've included an arpeggiator into the Osmose CE. Go to the playing menu and select the arpeggiator, and you have a bunch of presets here. And in this one, I'm actually controlling the octave range of the arpeggiator the deeper I press the keys in. You can't do this kind of stuff with other MIDI controllers. You can adjust the arpeggiators here. You've got a lot of things to try out, a very extensive arpeggiator menu, and you can even save your own. So what can you do with other plugins, and how does it feel playing other plugins? Well, in Ableton Live, you can bring up an MPE compatible stock instrument like Drift and just play. It works right away, very well. In Omnisphere, you can map things like aftertouch to parameters and just play, like controlling cutoff here with the deep travel of the Osmose keys. Expressive E makes some nice plugins that work very well with Osmose as well. So next, I want to talk about some pros and cons and other options you may have. But first, are you thinking about putting your music out there? Well, DistroKid is a simple and fast way to get your music onto Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, pretty much everywhere. And DistroKid collects earnings for you when anyone plays or purchases your music. It's simple to use and includes tools to help you build your audience. I've created 2 videos on DistroKid that'll probably answer any questions you have. You can watch them right here. And if you're ready to sign up, use the link below to get 7% off your first year of membership. Okay, so a few pros and cons. First, on the pro side, this is a super premium feeling keyboard. I've had my Osmose synth for a while and no problems for me yet, even with these interesting keys. Next, the level of expression you get with a keyboard like this just blows away traditional MIDI controllers. You can just play in so many new ways. It's fun, and when you pair it with MPE presets like on the CTRL E, you could just have fun for days. The DAW functions are really nice. This truly feels like a DAW controller. You've got all the controls you need for your daily recording tasks. Now, on the con side, first, I don't think they've made the best use of the screen. It's a nice size, 4.3 inches, and full color. So why not give us live feedback from our track volumes like Native Instruments does? And maybe some more interesting visual feedback from the CTRL E plugin. The CTRL E plugin controls just look kind of blah. One other small thing, you're doing a bit of menu diving to get to the ARP. They don't have a dedicated button. And there are no scale or chord features that you get on other MIDI keyboards, although I find that I don't really use those features as much. Also, no drum pads. This is made to show off the keys, so if you want pads, you'll need to find another MIDI controller made for that. And lastly, with all the expression these keys are capable of, it does take some time to get used to playing on them. And if you're a pianist like me, you might default to a hammer action keyboard more than this for your everyday playing. So what other options do you have in the MPE keyboard world? Well, there's the obvious one, Roly. Roly makes the C board, and it gives you a different take on MPE control surfaces. You don't have traditional keys like on the Osmose. It's more of a silicone mat that honestly has a steeper learning curve than the Osmose, but the benefit is that you can glide your fingers up and down that surface and do some cool pitch bending stuff. Rolly also makes the piano, which gives you a little bit of MPE fun. Now, if you're looking for a MIDI controller without all the MPE stuff, you have tons of options. If you're a pianist, you might prefer a hammer action keyboard like the Native Instruments S88 as your main controller and have the Osmose as a secondary one. Now, this isn't a cheap MIDI controller, so is it worth the price? Well, that's up to your budget, of course. For $1,000, you could get that S88 hammer action keyboard from Native Instruments, or the Keylab 88 by Arturia, but that's not really an apples to apples comparison. If you get the 49 key Rolly Seaboard Rise, you're going to pay around $1,400, so $400 more than the Osmose CE. In the MPE keyboard world, this is the latest and greatest, and it kind of seems like a good value. And you get a bunch of DAW controls too, and the CTRL E software with those great presets. So my final thoughts. I've had the original Osmose for a while, and it's been right by my studio desk. That says a lot. And if you want some expressive playing and don't need that built-in synth, the Osmose CE may be just what you're looking for. And Expressive E certainly delivered what we asked for. Links to buy the Osmose CE are below, and if you want to hear the original Osmose in action, watch the video right here. Keep making the music you love, and I'll see you later.